So move a blank Java to your project. So you're going to grab the blank Java file, you're going to drag it to the source and release it on the source. When you do that, the blank Java will show up in the default package. And now we're ready to begin. Okay, so you're going to find a blank Java file, and this is simply an empty text file that you've changed the extension to Java. The extension are the 4 letters after the last period in the file name. So when I make that Java, the Windows thinks this is a Java program. I'm going to take that and drag it off the desktop, hover it over the source folder that I want to put it in, and release it. When you release it, it's going to ask if you want to copy it or link it there. You choose the appropriate one. I copied mine. This creates a new blank Java that is in the source file in my working directory. For this program, I want the user to be able to enter their initials, and then the program will print their initials out in big block graphics. So how am I going to do this? At first, we're going to design what we're going to do in comments. So I'm going to call this the big initials, and this is a demo for my class. And we want to say, what does this do? So in a single sentence, what does this do? This program accepts 3 initials from the user and prints them out in big block letters. So we have 2 parts. First part is accept 3 initials from the user. And then the second part is print them in big block letters. But how do we do that? So first, accept 3 initials from the user. I'm going to use the scanner. I'm going to get a line from the user. I'm going to make a substring of 3 or fewer letters, and I'm going to pass the substring to the printer. Second, print them out in big block letters. I'm going to look at each letter of the initials substring, and for each letter I'm going to find the letter, look up that letter's graphic, and then I remember it. I haven't made them yet. We can do anything we want to in design. And so here I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. And this is what I did and worked before, so I can use my same design. The right design is the design that works. If your design works and it's different from mine, you have the right design. And later we're going to see that some designs are better than other designs. But right now, all we care about is that it works. So we remember it, and then we have to print it. So I remembered 3 letters. And we print the top. We print each row of the 3 letters. So print letter 1, row 1, then letter 2, row 2, then letter 3, row 3. And then we're done. So this is my design. This is what I want to do. And so I'm going to start to create my program here. I see I need the scanner, so I'm going to import it from the Java util library. Import java.util.star. This will import everything from the library. If you want, we can import just the scanner, because this is the only thing we're going to use from the library. Now we're going to need our program. Our program starts with the main. I'm not going to do a package here. I'm going to leave it in the default package. So I need the class first. I'm sorry. In order to do the class, it has to have the same name as the file. And right now my file is named blank. So gentlemen, I'm hearing talking and it's really too loud. So please lower it. Thank you. So right now my file name is blank and I don't like that file name. So I'm going to change the file name. I'm going to right click on the file in the Package Explorer. And when I do, somewhere in here is a replace with. Is that what I want? No, that's not what I want. Refactor. Here we go. There's a selection called Refactor. And in Refactor is a rename. So I'm going to use rename. And it says, what do you want to call it? I'm going to call it Big Initials Demo. So the name I'm choosing is exactly the same as the class name I'm about to make. And this is what Eclipse needs. So after I say OK, the name of the file changed to Big Initials Demo. Now I can create my class. The class is public, which means every other class in the world knows about this class. The class, it is a class, so I say class. Class name is Big Initials Demo. Kiani. Yes, you're going to import Java Util Scanner because we're going to use the scanner. So you must import every library procedure that you need, and we need the scanner. So the class Big Initials Demo, I do an open curly brace. When I press Enter in Eclipse, Eclipse automatically gives me a closed curly brace. Any code that I type between those two curly braces belongs to the class. And I'm going to need one function to belong to the class, and that function is called main. So now let's talk about functions. I'm going to switch to the overhead projector, and on this demo you won't be able to see it. This demo is probably going to run out of time. I have, what, 15 minutes? So we're going to run out of time on the demo. That's all right. We'll get half the demo. So for a signature, for a folder, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parts. And the first part are control statements. You see control in a square bracket. This part is optional. So we have control. The next part we have is a needed variable type, or sorry, what's this? Return type. All functions have a return type. The next thing I have is the method name. For main, it's called main, M-A-I-N. This is the method name. And you'll find all this in chapter 2. Then we have an open parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we have an optional parameter list. Main's parameters is the string array called args. The parameter list is comma separated, comma delimited. After the parameter list, we have a closed parenthesis, and we have an open curly brace. After we have our open curly brace, we put one or more statements, which are optional. A method that has no statements is a useless method, but it still runs. After the statements, we do a closed curly brace. The last statement may or may not be returned. If your method returns a type other than void, you must have a return. So the return is maybe needed, maybe not needed. Rectangles in this graphic are optional. Circles or ovals in this graphic are needed, necessary. So the return is both an oval and a rectangle. You may or may not need a return. Let's look at the code. On the code, I've listed the statements, what I just said. So we're going to do main. The control type tells us how we access main. Main is a public, static, static. The return type for main is void. The name for main is main. Main is the method name. Then we have an open parenthesis. Inside the parentheses, we have the parameter list. Main has one parameter. It is a string array. That's the type of the parameter. And the name of the string array is args. All mains must have the same signature, which means they must have public, static, void, main, open parenthesis, string, square brackets, args, close parentheses, and then an open curly brace. As with all curly braces denote scope, and any statement you write between the open curly brace and the closed curly brace of main will be owned by main. In main, we want to do our two things. We want to accept the 3 initials from the user, print them in big block letters, and finish. So I can just get the top. Free. First accept the 3 initials from the user. Control copy. And I'm pasting my comments in here. This is what I want to do first in main. And the second thing in main is print them in big block letters. Control copy. Control paste them in main. Now I could paste all the little sub bits of first. I could use the scanner and so on. But what I'm going to do is just call a function. So I'm going to make up some function and do a function call here. I need to accept the 3 initials from the user. So I need a string to accept the 3 initials in. I can create a local string called initials. And we're going to set this local string to the empty string. Then we're going to fill those out. So initials is going to get what comes out of get 3 initials. So now we have a function that does not exist yet called get 3 initials. It's going to give the initials to initials. The other thing I need to do in main is print them. So I'm going to print 3 big initials. And the initials I need to print are in initials. So in main, I've made 2 functions that do not exist yet. Again, I'm hearing talking. Please keep the talking low. And instead of actually writing the code here, I've wrote function calls to non-existing functions. So not only does a function have a signature, but a function is called somewhere in order to be useful. And a function call is just the name of the function, an open parenthesis, and any parameters you wish to pass to the function. So at this step, hopefully initials has the 3 initials the user gives me. So this will not run yet. I want to make 2 functions to run this program, and then I want to test what I have. So as you do top-down method, test each little step by running it. And so now I have a main. I have all I want in main is right there, just 2 function calls and the initial string. I want to test it, but right now my 2 functions don't exist. So let's make the functions. In order for a static function to call another function, that other function also must be static. So get 3 initials must be static. I also want to make it public, although I don't have to. I can make it private. So let's make it private for fun. This function has a return type. Get 3 initials returns whatever initials is. Initials is a string. So static returns a string. And this string is the initials. The name of the function, remember I'm doing my function signature here, control, return type, method name. Method name is get 3 initials. I have to print it the same way as I have it here, and the easy way is to double click. Double click will select the get 3 initials name. I copy it. I go down here, I want to paste it, and I control V paste, and it's exactly the same. Perfect. This get 3 initials has an open and closed parentheses where the parameter list will go, but there is no parameter list. Get 3 initials is going to return something, and right now it's going to make a string. This is the user's initials, and let's set the string to default test. And right now get 3 initials is not going to do anything, but in order for it to work, it has to return something, and we're going to return the string user initials. With these 2 return statements, now get 3 initials will work. Notice that the red squiggly line under get 3 initials has disappeared. The second function that main uses is called print 3 initials. And so we're going to use the same signature for method for print 3 initials. How much more? Oh, I'm about to run out of the Screencast-O-Matic. So we're going to do extra parts. We're going to run this again after we save it and do the second part of Screencast-O-Matic. So let's end Screencast-O-Matic now. And we're going to save